Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well, being safe, and being kind. Thank you so much for joining me for this video, and welcome to Terror by the Pines. I am your horrifying host for this channel, Jason. The spooky season is right around the corner. It is the most wonderful time of the year, in my opinion, and what better way to celebrate the upcoming season than talking about the newly released Horror Tarot deck. This is a deck filled with werewolves, vampires, creepy children, and other nightmarish creatures. And I am so excited to share my thoughts and opinions on this deck. I did take a chance by purchasing this deck on a whim. Do I regret purchasing this deck? Keep watching and you'll find out. So, this deck is by Insight Editions, who has been doing all of those Disney decks and the pop culture decks, such as Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus, Stranger Things. So this is another one they have put out. I am a huge horror fanatic, and I decided to take a chance on this. I did not pre-order this. I decided to wait to see what kind of cards this was going to entail, because Insight Editions, they're very known for having the major arcana fully illustrated, and then the minor arcana are full of pips. So I'm not a big pip person, so I decided to take a chance on this, and I'm kind of in the middle, folks, so let's go ahead and discuss. So it comes in a box like this. I really love their boxes. I am a person who keeps their cards in the box. I like a really sturdy box. The illustrations is by Abigail Larson, who has done the Nightmare Before Christmas illustrations and the Dark Woods Tarot. This guidebook is written by Minerva Siegel, who has done a lot of these guidebooks, as well as the Aria Gitmiter. I know I butchered that name. So this was interesting to learn that this guidebook was written by two people. It doesn't seem like it's written by two people, but we will get into that, folks. So the back of the box says, includes a fully illustrated 78 card deck and 128 guidebook. Add an element of horror to your tarot experience with this spooky and unique take on the traditional 78 card tarot deck. This dark tarot set features scenes and characters inspired by classic horror literature, films, and beyond, and gorgeous original illustrations. Featuring both major and minor arcana, the set also comes with a helpful guidebook explaining each card's meaning, as well as simple illustrations for easy readings. Packaged in a sturdy decorative gift box, this terrifying collectible tarot deck is the perfect gift for the horror fan or tarot enthusiast. So I butchered a lot of these sentences because the text is really small on this box, and this text is the same font and size as on the cards, which is a little disappointing. So this is a slide open box like this. I really love the inside of this. Very spooky, very on brand, on theme. Has the ribbon to pull open the guidebook and the cards. I just really love this right here. So the back of the cards, it's this, it reminds me of I guess wallpaper that you would see, or I would see, in a vampire home. It's very gothic, very just very moody, and I just really enjoy this. And as you can see, it has cobwebs on the corners. I will say that the borders on this is a little like thicker than it should be, and it goes for the same here. So this might be a good deck to mod if you are into modding. So the cardstock is that classic Insight Editions. It's going to withstand, it's kind of like a smidge rubbery. It's matte, but it's going to hold up, I believe. On this deck is that the text here, if you rub against it, you can feel the actual text. Now, I don't know if this will, fade away after use. So that's just a little bit concerning, and it is such a small font, and I have to hold it up at an angle to actually see the text. If I did it like this, you would not be able to see it. I do enjoy the cardstock. So the way this Major Arcana set is set up is that this is a semi-narrative illustrations in the major. So this survivor is mid-escape, and she's going to make her way through, as the Fool, through the end to get away from all of these nightmare creatures. So the Fool going into the Magician. This seems like a darker side of the Magician, like a mad scientist. The High Priestess. The Empress. Not my favorite Empress here, but in the guidebook it talks about how when you birth a new creation, it could have good and bad effects. So this is clearly a bad effect. The way this deck has with the horror element, it's definitely in the darker side or the shadowy side. Here's the Emperor, definitely a classic Dracula. The Hierophant. This is definitely the darker tone of the Hierophant. The Lovers. The Chariot. Strength. This took a little bit, but this is like the Jack Ripper-esque type of strength. The Hermit. Really enjoy this Hermit. I'm always a big Hermit fan. The Wheel of Fortune. One of my favorite Wheel of Fortunes. Justice. The Hanged Man. As you can see, it is very aesthetically pleasing for a horror fan. I love this death because this symbolizes a kiss of death. And you know, with death, the meaning of death is about change. And I really enjoy this illustration. Temperance. Very interesting. Definitely strays away from the traditional, but the guidebook hones into the meaning very well. The Devil. This one was a little interesting in terms of like the illustration because I don't see this as the devil, but the guidebook of how like the devil's temptations can weave you into a web that you cannot get out. Really enjoy that. The Tower. Very basic in my opinion. We don't see the tower crumbling, but that's okay. The Star. Anytime you put a Ouija board in a card, I'm going to love it. This is no exception. Love this as a star. The Moon, I love this. Very, I anticipated a werewolf for the Moon. The Sun, this one was interesting to read about in the guidebook because it talks about how, we mask our sadness, our troubles, and we put on this front of just being lollygolly or happy and all that. So I really appreciate this darker depiction of the sun. Judgment, I love this. It reminds me of Night of the Living Dead, of like how you're escaping from consequences, and you have consequences from your actions. The World, not crazy about this world. It just seems a little out of place in terms of like the narrative of like the survivor making it to the end. I don't get that from here. So going into the Minor Arcana, this is essentially the meat and potatoes of tarot. I did put these cards into order that I like. When you get the deck, it puts the court cards first and then the ace through the 10 last. I don't generally like that, so I put it in the way I like, aesthetically pleasing. So we have the aces in front, we have the swords, we have the pentacles, wands, and cups. So let's dive in because I have some thoughts. First up is Ace of Swords. I expected something like this, of how having the aces generally looking like this. I really like this Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. Three. I anticipated something like this, so that's fine. Going into the 4, I really like this card of like retreating and resting and meditating. The 5, This could have been a little bit better in terms of like the actual, creature on the card. This is a card of conflict, so I expected more from the 5. Going to the 6, I really enjoy this 6. I get that sense of journey and moving on. The 7, I do like this, the card of thievery. This creature definitely seems like it has a few tricks up its sleeve. As you can see, it is taking the swords. The 8, very traditional. Feel like you're trapped by your thoughts, but if you just take that blindfold off, you're not as trapped as you seem. The 9 of Swords, the Nightmare card. I really enjoy 9 of Swords in general, and this is a good one. The 10 of Swords, a beautiful depiction of 10 of Swords. Going into the court cards, the Page of Swords. This reminds me of that zombie in Hocus Pocus. The Knight of Swords looks like a gargoyle. Queen of Swords. This one was interesting. I'm not a fan of this illustration because the focus is definitely more on the necklace. I'm not getting Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords, this, I guess, robot looking thing, not a fan. Yeah. So the Suit of Swords is pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the court cards in this. Actually, in general, I'm not a fan of the court cards in this deck. The Ace of Pentacles. New Beginnings. The Two of Pentacles. This is a little bit of a stretch because this is all about balancing, and yeah, I'm not sure. So, spoiler alert, the Suit of Pentacles in this deck, I absolutely hate. It is the most pippish suit in this deck. The Three of Pentacles getting like a Blair Witch vibe. I'm not sure what the collaborative meaning is behind all of these trees with the pentagrams. Going into the 4, yeah, not getting the sense of hoarding resources. The 5, this is just awful. This is just awful. The 6, even though this has a character on it, I'm not getting that giving and receiving aspect. The 7 of Pentacles of like taking a step back and looking at your work. Not getting this. I do enjoy the gravestones and stuff, but it's not getting the 7 of Pentacles for me. The 8, absolutely awful. Not getting the working on your craft. The 9 of Pentacles, I'm okay with. This is a little bit of a stretch, but in my mind, this creature is essentially has a new house to essentially haunt. This creature is the boogeyman of the house, so it has picked a house and is now living their best life in that house. Definitely a stretch. And then the 10, I really enjoy this illustration, and I'm okay with this 10 of Pentacles because it is a sense of a family of vampires living their abundant life. Going into the court cards, the Page of Pentacles, I don't understand this illustration in terms of like the page not hiding under the bed or is hiding under the bed, not getting that. And there's just too many characters in this to understand who is the page. The Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, not really getting this illustration or reference, not getting abundance. Going into the King, yeah, not too sure. But the Suit of Pentacles is just really bad in my opinion. It's my least favorite suit in this deck. Going into the Wands, really enjoy this hand holding the candle. The Two of Wands, yes. So we have a person who is using a crystal ball to plan their move. And then the Three of Wands, you have this person going out and taking action on that plan. The Four of Wands having that celebratory card here. And then the 5, I really enjoy this card of conflict because it seems like every hand that's been in the last 4 cards is here, or at least in my mind. The 6 of Wands, I actually enjoy this. It is very creepy. The 7 of Wands, definitely standing up for yourself, defending your ground. The 8 of Wands, traditional movement card, going with the flow. Then the 9 of Wands, this is essentially you're almost there. You've been wounded, but you're almost there. The 10 of Wands is a little bit of a stretch. I'm not getting that burden that you would normally see in the 10 of Wands. Going into the court cards, the Page, the Knight. Not really getting the Knight reference with the Mummy because the Knights are, they're all about movement. Fast movement. Queen of Wands, I'm okay with this. And then the King. I really love this Phantom of the Opera reference here. Really digging that. So the Wands suit is definitely a step above the Pentacles. Going into the Cups. The 2 of Cups, really gorgeous here. You have the 2 figures. It seems like they're in the coffin together on their little date. Then the 3, a little pippish, but I get the celebratory reference. The 4, this one is okay. I would prefer a much more traditional 4 of Cups. Maybe if one of the cups was not on the tray. Then the 5, totally get this. Crying over spilled milk when you have 2 other cups in front or behind you. The 6, this is a spin on childhood, about how children are creepy. I do like the 6 of Cups. 7 of Cups, you have all these decisions in front of you, very traditional. I expected this. The 8 of Cups is really beautiful. Going on to another journey, leaving the past behind. The 9, I actually enjoy this 9. This is about sharing your happiness, your joy, and you're taking all that in your cup and you're spreading it around with others. And then the 10, I'm good with this. This is about having, that full fulfillment of your emotions, and it's really spilling over into others' cups, other people's cups. I really enjoy this. Then the Page of Cups. I don't understand this reference, but it looks like a jack-in-the-box, a twisted jack-in-the-box. Then the Knight of Cups. I love this. You have that Sleepy Hollow, that Headless Horseman reference here. Really enjoy that. The Queen of Cups. I really enjoy this too. And then the King of Cups. I expected something like this, so I'm okay with this. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a shuffle so I can give you a good sense of the guidebook. All right, so we have the Emperor going into the little guidebook here. A little hefty, just like the Inside Editions guidebooks are. Going into the introduction about how this is a more on the darker side of tarot. Understanding the tarot deck. Talks about the major and minor, and then going into the major. So let's go into the Emperor here, and you get a full color page of the actual card. I love that. I love this aesthetic of keeping up with the back of the cards. So the Emperor, alluring and dark with a thirst of blood, the Emperor is ambitious and cunning as he declares possession over the eternal future of all within his dominion. Upright, how badly do you want what you need? Under the dead of night, sink your teeth into life and drink until you have all that you need to survive. Hunt your dreams until you've conquered each task, or until first light pierces the dawn. Reversed, manipulative people struggle with control issues, but that does not mean you have to allow them in your life. You get to decide the rules you live by, and when you find that someone is crossing a boundary, let them know by asserting your right to choose what is best for your own interests. The narrative tone, in terms of like the theme of the major arcana, really flows through the majors. I like how this is essentially describing what's semi going on in the card, and then you have the upright, meaning and reversal meanings. So when we get into the minor arcana, it's a little bit different. So you're just getting a smaller image of the card, but still full color, and then you get the upright and reverse meanings. So I wish that was like more put into the minor, because you have all this space here. So let's go ahead and read one of the swords. So the Two of Swords. You are at the crossroads of decision making. The Two of Swords means the heart and mind are not in alignment, causing an emotional conflict. It represents people who are unable to agree or are fighting. Reversed, a compromise has been made, allowing you to move forward with your life. You understand why you feel the way that you do, and that has given you an ability to choose wisely. Following up with the rest of the guidebook, you have the tarot readings here, essentially about caring for your deck, preparing to read the tarot, and then it goes into some theme spreads, which I really enjoy. You get 3 of these. And then it talks about the 2 authors and the illustrator. So for a guidebook that's written by 2 people, it doesn't seem like it's been written by 2 people. It's just not enough. There's not enough substance in terms of the minors. I know this is, I guess, something of an Insight edition thing or something, because most of these decks with guidebooks in this collection do follow the same formula. So folks, do I regret getting this deck for my library? Absolutely not. It has its flaws, but overall I enjoy it. I see myself using the deck, particularly during spooky season, of course. Abigail's artwork is stunning. I enjoy the theme of it, and I'm a sucker for this cardstock. I guess the biggest disappointment is the suit of Pentacles. They are the most pippish out of the 4 suits, and they seem rushed. What's funny is that, in my opinion, most of the decks put out by Insight Editions feel rushed in general. The mixture of having fully illustrated and pip cards put together is kind of off-putting. Either stick to one or the other. Another disappointment is the court cards overall. Most of them just seem random, and it seems that there's not much thought put into why the particular creature of the night is assigned to that particular energy. The last disappointment is the guidebook. With this being a collaborative work between 2 authors, I feel the guidebook would have more substance than what it does have. However, this isn't a regretful purchase, because it is a unique addition to my overall collection, and I know I will have fun with this deck overall. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck and your thoughts on the influx of decks coming from Insight Editions. And finally, let me know what you think about the suit of Pentacles. I hope you all have a terrifying upcoming spooky season, and I thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, I will see you for Tarot by the Pines.